Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. There's a couple things that I want to get into before we get into today's video. One of which is, sorry that it is so dark, but oh my god, it is so dark because of winter. I literally have like no daylight hours and it's terrible. Secondly, please watch this video supplemental to the actual care video I'm posting as well. I will include it up here somewhere, I will include the links below, and I will include it at the end of this video. That video is going to go into much more depth about the care in captivity of the Chinese cave gecko. This video is just specifically about like their lifespan, where they're from, what they look like, and things like that. One more thing before we get started, please subscribe and hit the notification bell, and let's go. So what is a Chinese cave gecko? It is a gecko that a lot of people always ask me, is that a leopard gecko, when I post it on my Instagram. To be fair, I have a lot of leopard geckos, so people probably get confused sometimes. I get asked that a lot about my African fat-tailed gecko as well, who will also have a care video, but it is not out yet. So subscribe and stay tuned for that if you're interested. In my opinion, cave geckos look very, very different from leopard geckos. They're smaller, their heads are more narrow, their tails aren't as fat, and they pretty much have like one color, like they all look the same, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But let's start with where they come from. So their name is a Chinese cave gecko, and their Latin or scientific name, which I'm not even going to try and pronounce, I'll include down here. They are, as you guessed it, from China, and as you guessed it, they live in caves. They live in the southern area of China in some caves in the rainforest. So that's one reason why they like it really humid, and they're not super fond of the heat, because in caves it's really dark and moist and cold. So that's where they live, and that's what they like. Like I said earlier, they all kind of look the same, and they all have this dark gray, like charcoal color or black base with yellow bands across their torso, and they also can have like some dappling on them in terms of like darker colors on a lighter base. So I'll show you a picture of Nymeria right here. She's pretty standard for what a cave gecko looks like. And also, the really awesome feature that a lot of people love about Chinese cave geckos is their bright red, sometimes orangish eyes. There's also some geckos that are currently being bred to have more orange bands instead of yellow. They're really gorgeous too. They stay pretty small when compared to like a leopard gecko, for example. Like I said earlier, they have like a more narrow head and a smaller tail. Their limbs are really skinny and long, like they don't get chubby fat arms. They've got like long spindly arms, and their bodies are kind of long and slinky. They look more lanky than they would chunky, but in total they can get to 8 or 9 inches. Nymeria is a bit smaller than that. Despite being 8-9 inches long, which sounds long, they're a very small weight. They typically weigh around 40 grams. And like I said, that gives them that nice long and lanky look. So what about when it comes to their behavior? Well, they're super shy. They like it dark, they don't like bright lights, they don't like a lot of movements, they are super nocturnal. They're not crepuscular like a leopard gecko. They are nocturnal for sure. Nymeria does not really let me see her unless I kind of force it on her, like if I'm digging around in her enclosure and she pops up somewhere. That's pretty much the only time I get to see her. Sometimes if I come in the pet room like really late at night, I'll see her climbing her cork tile walls, and she'll be like, drat, she caught me. But that's pretty much the only time I get to see her, because she is very nocturnal and very shy, and that is very common for their species. When it comes to handling, they're not super fond of handling. I mean, some tolerate it, others do not tolerate it at all. Just depends on the individual cave gecko, but most are going to be more on the side of please don't bother me. When it comes to their lifespan, they have kind of a confusing lifespan. So they haven't like been in captivity for a long time now to get an accurate reading of how long they live, but it's 10 plus years. So it's easily probably 10 to 20 years, like a lot of the reptile species that we currently keep are. Like for crested geckos, they can live for a really long time, but some people are like 10, 20 years, 30 years, because it's just a lot of people still waiting on old geckos to get to that age to actually create like a basis of how long they actually live in captivity with proper care. Another thing to know about the Chinese cave gecko is that it can drop its tail, and if it does, it grows back, but it will not look the same. That's very similar to a leopard gecko, but you don't ever want to be in a position where your gecko drops its tail. Obviously, it's okay if it does. You just like keep its enclosure clean and whatnot, but it does stress them out. So the reason they drop their tail is a defense mechanism, like with other species of lizards that drop their tails. Crested geckos drop their tails, leopard geckos drop their tails, a lot of geckos drop their tails. It's just a defense mechanism so that in the wild wild, if something is trying to attack them, they can drop their tails and it'll wiggle, and that'll distract the predator while they get away and try to survive another day. So there you have it. You know a little bit about cave geckos, and please, again, watch the care video. I'll have it linked up here again. I'll have it linked at the end of this video and in the links down below. If you enjoyed today's video, please leave a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment down below. Did you learn something new? Did I miss something? Did I leave something out? Do you love Chinese cave geckos as much as I do? Because I have been enamored with this species for a long time, and it was really difficult for me to find one to have because like I don't like supporting breeders that often if I can find one from Craigslist. But I finally did the middle of this year, 2018, and I love her so much. She's amazing. If you want to see a little bit more of Nymeria, I have a welcome home video. I'll also include in links below, so go ahead and click on that. But that's all for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!